Sup everyone, this is Draco Evolve back yet again with some latest Manchester United news, latest Manchester United transfer news today. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to each and everyone for supporting this particular playlist in my channel over the last few days. It has been monumental and it has been amazing. Just a quick thing I want to start off in order to get everyone to get involved and get the opinions running is, apart from today's video, the next video that I will upload over Manchester United, I will read out a comment from the comment sections and kind of try to answer it and talk about it a bit more. So if you have any thoughts relating to Manchester United and whether it's news, player stats, potential players going in, potential players going out, just leave a comment below and I'll be sure, if it's appropriate enough, to pick it up and talk about it. But anyway, without further ado, I know it's a day late because I was out yesterday, and you probably have or know about this news already, but if you haven't, then just stay, you should stay here. But it's around Paul Pogba. So a few days ago, Simon Stone, we all know who Simon Stone is, reported that Pogba has been absent from Manchester United training with Solskjaer's permission. Now, alarm bells started ringing in my head. I'm sure alarm bells started ringing in everyone's head that he is going to leave, and this is just an excuse to kind of not be in the training ground, because United team are back on training now before they head off to on Sundays, well, tomorrow's pre-season. This is just an excuse because his head is not in it. It's as simple as that. But this is what has been said about it. I will read it out from the BBC article. Paul Pogba's absence from pre-season training at Manchester United this week has sparked more speculation about his long-term future. It has come after the France midfielder used a personal promotional trip to Japan in June to state that now could be a good time to find a new challenge somewhere else. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to go down and say Pogba's future has been the subject of intense speculation for months. There was widespread reports of acrimony between him and former Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho. While the midfielder stated in March that Real Madrid was a dream club for every player, though he did add that he was happy at Old Trafford. Now, obviously, when that news broke initially, Paul Pogba didn't barely have any break. You're going into the previous season, he played the last 10 games, not the last season that went past, I'm talking about 17-18. He played the last 10 games, full 90 minutes, before joining up to play full 90 minutes for each of France's World Cup campaign, in where he went on to win the World Cup. Straight after that, he was back last season. We're talking about 18-19 season, straight into the team and pretty much played every game. I believe between him, Rashford and De Gea, they made the most appearances for the club. So obviously the initial news was coming out that, okay, maybe he wanted a bit of a rest because he never really had a rest for the last year and a bit. But that was just a couple of days ago. Yesterday's news broke, which is what I'm going to discuss, is Paul Pogba, Manchester United midfielder, wants to leave Old Trafford, according to his agent Mino Raiola, the toxic agent. Okay, so I'm going to read this out to you. Manchester United midfielder Paul Pogba wants to leave the club. His agent Mino Raiola has told the Times. So it is directly from the agent. So I will tell you guys what the agent wrote. Okay, everyone knows the willingness of Paul to move on. We are in the process of that. Everyone knows what the feelings of Paul are. Everyone within the club, from the manager to the owner, knows Paul's wishes. I cannot tell you anything. I live day by day. That's obviously in response to whether Paul Pogba will be traveling to the squad for pre-season tour in Australia. So there you have it, guys. I mean, any common fan, it's common sense. Know that if Mino Raiola gets involved in a player's agent, it's as simple as that the player will stay there for a few years before he will start whispering into the player's ears and get him a move. And that's what exactly happened to Pogba early on in his career. There's a reason why clubs like Madrid, Ferguson, Sir Alex Ferguson, don't want to deal with agents like that. You know, he messed around with Paul Pogba when he was, what, 15, 16, and took him to Juventus, stayed there, came back to United, and it's happened the same thing again. He's just tugging Paul Pogba around like a dog on a leash, and he's getting paychecks out of it. Yes, he's getting money for Paul Pogba, but that's where the motivation of a player comes in. A world-class player will not think about money. He'll think about winning things. Now, I understand Paul Pogba wanted to leave because we're not in the Champions League. We're not really challenging. But that's his mentality is very weak there. He should be kind of pushing to stay in the United squad, giving Oli the full season. Because there are exciting players we are signing, young exciting players, and see what they can do. It's as simple as that. He can be the pivot in that team. But he only performs when he wants to perform. He's just lethargic. He can't be asked. That's the problem with him. So, you know, he's got elite technical ability, but weak mental ability. And he is clearly in it to move around clubs, earn big loads of money, and then move on. It's as simple as that. And he will never, in my eyes, certainly go down as a legendary player. He's won a few things in his career, but to be honest with you, with all due respect, Italian league is not the strongest. If you're in Juve team, you're guaranteed trophies. He couldn't win the Champions League there. The French team, even if Pogba wasn't there, the third team alone was better than most of the first teams around the world. It's a fact. The French team is phenomenal. And if you got Conte next to you in the midfield, that's like two midfielders in one rolled in. So he won it, okay? He's come to United, things got tough. And what did he do? He threw his pram out of the toys out of the pram. And now look what's happening now. He's causing a lot of divide, a lot of stir. Now, in terms of his transfer fee, where he's potentially going, there has been rumours around we're willing to sell him for £150 million plus. He might be going back to Juventus. Madrid is another option. But I will discuss all the details in a later video, much like I did with the Bruno Fernandes video, where I did a whole analysis of him. But anyway, these... do you think Pogba should stay at United, or should he just leave? And do you think he has achieved, albeit not much trophies, in a second stint in the club? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Okay. Next piece of news is Sean Longstaff. Now, Sky Sports reported yesterday that Manchester United are preparing a bid for Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. Now, he has been on United's radar for a few weeks now, but yesterday news broke down, and I'm focusing a bit more on Sky Sports because this season so far they have got a lot of their things correct in terms of United. So whether there was there's an internal PR movement with them happening where they should be focusing more on legit news than rumors and, you know, all this stuff. Obviously this is not official still yet, but so far they've got it right with Daniel James, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and it has come right leading up to it. But anyway, so let's read a bit of the article. Manchester United are preparing a bid for Newcastle midfielder Sean Longstaff, according to Sky sources. United boss Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has already signed two homegrown youngsters in Daniel James and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and says the club are still working on more transfers. Longstaff caught Solskjaer's eye last season after breaking into the Newcastle first team. The 21-year-old made 13 appearances, 9 in the Premier League, before a knee ligament injury in March brought a premature end to his campaign. However, Newcastle insists Longstaff is not for sale, and Sky Sports News has been told he will cost Manchester United more than £50 million they spent on Wan-Bissaka. I mean, yeah, I know, even me reading that, £50 million. But anyway, let's see his stats if he justifies that price. So, he's a central midfielder. Main position is there. He can play on the left side. He's predominantly a left-footed player, which is always a advantage. If I go into his stats, you can see so far he has made 123 appearances, scoring 23 goals and 16 assists in all competition. And if I go to all of his season, and if I pick a season which is last season, here we go, and press show. So there you have it. That's it. So last season in all competition, he made 26 appearances. In the Premier League, he made 9 appearances, 3 goals, 6 assists. Obviously, his injury took over him. But what's my thoughts on us signing Sean Longstaff. Okay, when the initial fees were being touted around about a week and a half ago for £20 million, yes, go for it. You never know. £20 million is nothing compared to these days market, and he can be one for the future. It's not a risk. But £50+ million now, that's a problem to me. Especially, I don't expect him. He's 21 years old. I don't expect him to come in and be straight in the first team. If he is the only midfielder we sign and is in the first team, then I'll be very worried going into a new season, especially given the Pogba fiasco and the Herrera leaving as well. In terms of his stats, now he's highly regarded by Newcastle. In fact, the 9 games that he played, he has been phenomenal. His stand-up performance, it was against the win against Man City at home, where him and the holding midfielder, I can't remember the other guy's name, absolutely tore Man City to pieces. And Pep came out and said in his conference at that time that they could not handle two of those boys, two of the Newcastle holding midfielders. So you can just see how much of a massive impact he had. And he is tenacious. He has bags of energy. He can run up and down. He's a left-footed. He's got good passing range. In terms of his passing range, he is in a raw ability, a raw talent, meaning that it needs to be refined. He's got the attributes for it, but he's not perfect at it. So he needs to work hard and be refined. And to sign someone for £20 million for the future, who can rotate around our midfield, fantastic. It's fantastic news. But to sign him in a sense to put him as a first team starter, no good. And that I will have problems with, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will have problems with. But anyway, guys, this is the transfer news of Manchester United. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What you think about Paul Pogba and his imminent move. Where do you think he will go? Let me know about Sean Longstaff. What do you feel about him? Have you seen him play? Is he good enough to be a United starter? He can be good enough to be a United rotational player, I'm sure of it. But is he good enough to become a United starter? And if you like what you see, then smash the like button. If you don't like what you see, feel free to hit the dislike button. But let me know in the comments below where I went wrong. What do you feel about this video? And as always, guys, catch you guys in the next upload.